Mr. Jayadev Galla.
Thank you, Madam. I thank you for permitting me to speak on this bill, which should pave the way for meeting the energy mismatch in the country, which is very crucial for inclusive growth and also helps in taking the country forward. We all know that nuclear power has been the exclusive domain and monopoly of the NPCIL since we became independent. But this bill breaks that shackle and permits other PSUs, particularly power PSUs such as NTPC, NHPC, and Power Grid, which are not subsidiaries of the Department of Atomic Energy, to invest in nuclear energy production in the country. I think the genesis of this bill emanates from the government after the government turned down 12,000 crore proposal from NALCO, which wants to be a partner of NPCIL in the construction and operation of one nuclear reactor. After this refusal, the situation has become ridiculous that even the government itself cannot invest in its own company. It's all because of the highly restrictive laws surrounding nuclear activity in the country. Now, with the passage of this bill, the Department of Atomic Energy achieves the twin objectives of not only opening doors for our PSUs to invest in atomic energy production, but also gets investment for which it has been screaming over many years. But here I have a question to ask, Madam, or Sir, sorry, changed. Why the country is still clinging. I'm supporting the bill. I didn't see the chairman change, so just correcting Madam to Sir. Why the country is still clinging to an archaic notion of secrecy on its nuclear activities. I feel that it will only dampen the entrepreneurial skills and spirit of the private entrepreneurs who want to venture into this sector and contribute whatever little they can to boost an important component of infrastructure in particular and economy in general. Even after the passage of this bill, the private sector is not permitted because the government wants all the talent that the country has should come under its umbrella, which to my mind stifles the growth needed in clean and safe nuclear technology that we need. And the umbrella of the government is so small and limited that it cannot accommodate India's nuclear talent in its fold. I am saying this because now the private sector is permitted to supply only some components for nuclear reactors, thereby putting brakes on opportunities, innovation, investment, which I think is done with the sole objective to eliminate competition in this sector. It is only happening in India, sir. If you look at other countries, there are many private companies which are involved from everything from uranium mining, processing and enrichment to actual operation of nuclear power plants and its waste disposal. I can give you some examples. You have Energy Resources of Australia. It produces 11% of the world's uranium production. Cameco from Canada produces 19% of world's uranium production. You have Skoda Praha of the Czech Republic, which is working in EPC, nuclear engineering and construction of plants. Then we have Areva from France and a host of companies in Germany, US, Russia, etc. This August House would be surprised to know that even Reliance Industries chief, Sri Mukesh Ambani, has a stake in Bill Gates' TerraPower and is a part of the board of directors. This was announced during the recent Paris Climate Conference, and TerraPower has also gone on record to say that renewable energy like sun and wind cannot be the total solution for clean energy in this world, because the world needs energy even where the sun doesn't shine and even where the wind doesn't blow. So nuclear energy cannot be wished away, sir. It's the only other form other than renewable energy to provide clean and relatively safe energy. When I say safe, safety has been discussed a lot by many members of the House till now, but I would like to just use an analogy between air travel and road travel. Because if you take coal-based power plants and nuclear-based power plants, even on a per unit basis, I would say that the number of lives lost to nuclear energy is far, far lower than lives lost to coal-based power plants. It's something like air travel and road travel. Yes, we have air accidents. Yes, they're catastrophic. Whole plane may perish as a result of it. But the number of travelers that died because of air accidents is far, far fewer, even as a percentage, than road. And we must remember that, and we should not condemn nuclear energy just like that, sir. It's a very important part of the energy security of this country. The point I'm trying to drive at is the private sector in the country is interested to enter into this new and challenging sector. It can be permitted with appropriate regulatory framework which stimulates competition and harnesses large pool of capital, which will help to achieve the goals set by the Honorable Prime Minister for this sector. I request the Government of India to revisit this whole approach and take a positive view on this. Our nuclear power accounts for just 3.5% of our current electricity generation. The present generation is about 5,800 megawatt, and even if we achieve the Prime Minister's goal of tripling nuclear power by 2024, the total power generation to the total power generation would be only around 5%. If we look at some of the other major economies in the world, Canada, 16% of their power is nuclear, sir. France at 73%, Korea 27%, Russia 17%, Spain 19%, Sweden 42%, Switzerland 36%. Even the US and Russia, where two of the major accidents have occurred, Russia accounts for 17.5 and United States counts for 19.4. So I think it would be more pragmatic to look at a target of 20% for nuclear power for India, sir. I think that would be a practical approach, and I would urge the government to look at 20% of total power coming from nuclear power as a target. The next point I wish to make is about nuclear liability, sir. This very House passed a nuclear liability bill in 2010, but due to some of its provisions relating to liability of the supplier, we are not getting the foreign reactors as we expected. We are given to understand that during the last year's visit of the US President to India, there was some agreement between India and US. But even after nearly 1 year, we do not know what transpired between these two heads of state. I would like to know from the Honourable Minister what is going on and what are we going to do with the liability clauses in the Act. Sir, I have one or two small points to make and then I'm done. Sir, uranium is the primary source for nuclear power. And Canada, Kazakhstan, Argentina, Namibia, Australia and Mongolia are the main suppliers of uranium. Recently, the Honourable Prime Minister has also visited Mongolia. We have entered into agreements with Canada, Kazakhstan and Australia, but no tangible quantity of uranium is coming from these countries. So I want to know what the Government of India is doing to get more uranium from these countries, sir. The next point is, domestically, Andhra Pradesh is having the highest amount of uranium deposits in the country, as per the Uranium Corporation of India. As per preliminary estimates, there are deposits to the tune of 5,000 tons at Kopanuru in my Guntur district and nearly 2 lakh tons at Tumalapalli in Kadapa district. So I would like to know from the Honourable Minister what Atomic Minerals Directorate for Exploration is doing to explore uranium, and how are you going to allay the apprehensions in the minds of the local people about the health hazards that are attached to uranium exploration. Finally, I would like to know about the progress that is being made in setting up of the Kovada 3,000 megawatt nuclear power plant in Srikakulam, Andhra Pradesh, sir. It's been 5 to 6 years since the plant has been announced. Much effort has been taken to convince the local citizens and everyone else about the safety and the necessity for such a plant, but no progress has been made and no information is available in terms of what is expected to be done here. So whether the ministry is going to set up the plant or not, or is it going to be shelved, please explain this, sir. With these words, thank you once again for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.